Well, hey everyone, it's Marcus. I'm chatting in my jungle room again. I'm talking with Dave Larkin today. Dave Larkin, of course, is Dallas Crane. Dave, hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for chatting, like, because we've got so much to talk about. Of course, the new music.
Yeah.
Trouble Knows My Name. Wow.
Yeah.
The single is
Yeah.
banging. It's just come out. What's the inspiration behind the new single?
That's really funny. It's a good question. The actual term was a term I remembered from my only ever visit to the Magistrates Court in Victoria, where I was contesting a uh, a speeding ticket that put me over 12 points. And as I was waiting for my turn to speak to the judge and say, I've been pursued for a ticket that was in dispute, this all the sort of two bob lawyers and their clients got up, and this one guy got up, and the judge before me, and the judge, she's gone to him, oh, so and so, you again. And he goes, yeah, well, Trouble knows my name. And the whole court just broke up because he kind of just sort of messed up the cliche, as in, I think we all thought he was going to say Trouble's my middle name, but it just stuck with me as a funny thing. And as I was writing the song, you start sort of phonetically just sort of singing gibberish until something fits, and that just popped into my head, and I just thought, oh, that's a good song. So there's a couple of lines in the song about it. Um, how the Magi gave him 4 years for because he was this petty thief that was upping his thievery each time from bikes in the supermarket car park and breaking into houses, and I think the judges had enough. So yeah, it was just stuck with me. That's yeah.
Turn trouble into art, always, right?
That's it. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think
I
that's
thought it was. I thought it sings well too. You got to have a. If you're going to have a cycling chorus like that, it does have to sing well. It can't be too sort of jarring to sing, and it did sing well. So I had some other options in there, but that was the best one. So yeah,
and it's an incredible rock track for sure. I'm enjoying it immensely. You of course are working on album number 6 at the moment, which is
yeah.
crazy. Like, where's all that time gone, right?
Well, seriously, I mean, we've been around 20 years plus, and there should have been more than 6 albums out. But this is the first time in our history that we've ever had. We haven't had the huge um, hurdle of saving up X amount of dollars to record. And not only that, just the time investment on writing, and if anything's good about sort of modern tech in music, is that you can do so much at home now, and it's great. And it's giving power back to the artist to create and get better at producing and mixing and writing. And it's certainly given me much more of a usable platform than I had before, which was pretty much nothing, waiting for the wife and kids to leave the house before I could make some noise. It's not a very good situation. So now I've got a little soundproof kind of dedicated space at home, and we're finally getting onto it. Yeah.
So with the 20 years, what has changed for you? Like, when you started off to, what you produce now, how have you changed your sound? How have you developed, do you think?
Look, I don't know I don't think the sound is still sort of driven out of sort of two guitars. It's not, hasn't drastically changed. It's kind of, I don't know, aesthetic, if you will. Is that the right word for audio? But hasn't drifted too far off the original brief. But the way we record now and the way we write and produce has definitely changed. So, back when we were signed to Alberts in the early part of the I was going to say decade, but I really should say century. Um, um, you know, um, there was just a different process. I mean, there was actually a music industry where someone put money behind you to record, and then they paid for the recording, then they paid for the release, and then you paid them back in goodwill if you're lucky enough to sell anything. But I mean, it's obviously flipped on its head now, and streaming and Spotify and things like that has just killed that, for better and for worse, I think. But yeah, definitely in a lot of ways, these are, for me, it's like a dream situation because if we go, and Trouble Knows My Name's not even 6 weeks old as a song. I probably started working on it under 2 months ago. Like, it was written quickly. I don't know if you can tell. It was recorded and mixed in my studio, and produced and mixed by me, and the band just came up and did their bits, and it was out. And with a couple of pushes of the button, we had an international release.
Yeah.
like that. And back in the day, like getting released overseas was a kind of absolute begging act. Not only that, just just shooting in the dark as well. Like if you're from Australia and you haven't got any sort of direct line into label over there. So I reckon that's, for all its crimes, um, that's definitely one of the great advantages of Spotify and streaming music now for artists, I reckon.
So back in the early days when you were first starting in the industry of, the
Yeah.
game we call music, who was
Yeah.
the people that you were looking up to? Who were the people that kind of led you away at the time?
Well, so when we were coming through in the sort of early 2000s, the bands that were kind of prospering were kind of, UMI were pretty big back then, and Powderfinger, and they were, without being like crazy over the top fans of theirs, they were the benchmark of what you could potentially achieve in Australia, I suppose, because both of those bands, particularly Powderfinger, were, doing some big numbers and touring, and it was a very different space back then. We had a we had the Triple J and its full flourishing might back then that could really dictate careers, and have such influence on your fortunes. And it definitely had influence on our fortunes. We wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for them. But at the same time, it had the power to give and the power to take away.
Yeah.
But we were lucky enough just to have even a small snippet of magnification through Triple J for a few years, and build a crowd around Australia. Our crowds went north very quickly once we got added to Triple J. So they were kind of benchmarks. Bands like You're My, then you have all your old heritage rockets. I know they hate being called heritage rockets, but all the old Aussie guard like your Hoodoo Gurus and your AC/DC, and
Yeah.
we were just happy to get anywhere with it. Really, we were just happy to, and it's still the same today. We're happy to just put another page in the book, because it is a rolling dice of a thing. It's not something anyone can really control. All you can do is give it your best, and hopefully other people catch on and enjoy what you do. And if that, you know, if that can still happen, then we've got some sort of a future. Yeah.
100%. And look, we've kind of touched on the fact that, you are still, going by the same brief as such, but
Yeah.
technology wise, things have changed radically. And you know what?
Yeah.
If not only the last, decade, but definitely the last, couple of years, technology
Yeah.
ridiculously, whether it be AI, whether it be, the
Yeah.
various formats that, we get to dabble in these days. Um, so do you find like developing music, creating music, making your music these days, is
Yeah.
it easier or more challenging?
Uh,
Sounds.
it's the writing part's the writing part's definitely easy for me now, having, being able to just sort of open up a laptop and get working. Back in the day, there was a dictaphone. If you were lucky enough to have it on you, and they're lucky enough to have enough tape, and the batteries were charged, and then you'd go and punch down a little idea, but you couldn't. I mean, now I can sit down if I have, and this is the same for any songwriter. If you can sit down and you can just, you can get a beat up, and you can just put a bass part down quickly. If you just want to start circulating a vibe, you can sort of, back in the day, we'd have it on a dictaphone, we'd take it into rehearsal, then we'd test it out with the band. If there was any vibe for it, we'd keep working on it. If there wasn't a vibe, it was cut straight away. So, but now you can sort of finish a song to a point, even if it's a demo standard, fairly quickly, and circulate that on a text, and just say, what do you think, guys? And if you get a few, nice eggplant emojis, then we'll work on it.
I hear
You
you.
know,
I hear you.
yeah,
Hey, so is there an album title when like we've said, you're working on the album at the moment. Is there a
yeah.
title and is there an album release date yet that we can?
There's definitely not a release date, so it's still so that all the songs are sort of they're just how do I describe this? They're on the table, and it's just stitching the right 10 or 12 together. So some of them need finishing mixing. It's just, when you've got a good 10,
Yep.
and there's at least 20 odd songs there, but not all of them are working together. Some of them sound like they should be on a country record. Some of them sound like they should just stay in the hard drive. So you've just got to find 10 that, are a gang that can run up the race and do some work for you. And we haven't quite got there yet, but we're hoping by the middle of next year. But you know, um, I don't want it to become the new Chinese democracy, put it that way.
Um,
You know,
Obviously, there are some dates that are coming up.
mm,
Friday, September 19.
mm,
You're doing some work with the Hoodoo Gurus at the Barracks.
yeah,
And then Thursday, September 25, the Corner Hotel. And then Saturday, October 11, right here in Adelaide at the Grace Emily,
yeah,
the Trafalgars as well, which is going to be great. Do you still
yeah,
love touring? Do you love getting out there, doing
yeah.
the?
I do. Yeah, I do. I tell you, a lot back. We did have a luxurious situation, where we had I wouldn't call them staff, but we had support. Every tour, we had a tour manager, we had a merch person, a sound guy, road crew, and it was great. We would literally turn up to gigs. Now we've got to do everything ourselves, like everything, including the promotion and just the little things that go into running a gig now or putting any gig on, including just like, stumping up public liability, just
Yeah,
it's a lot of work just to put on one gig. So yeah, I still enjoy it, but that side of it is definitely a time vampire that, can get on your nerves. But like I said, it's we do it because there's a reason to do it, and there's still enough people that will come out and see us and make it worth the effort. But yeah, when that gets hard and when ticket sales aren't moving and when
yeah.
I don't know how much we could sustain it for, but at the moment it's in a pretty healthy spot, so we're good for now. Yeah.
Keep on bringing that joy. So
Yeah.
Dave, like now, like I mean, like we say, 20 years later, what inspires you to keep on creating the music? Like, what's your main drive?
I don't know. It's a funny question. My main joy out of music is the same as it was when we started. I love the writing process. I love the little light bulb that goes off when you've got something good. And I absolutely love the production and mixing side of it. And, for 20 years, um, I've been a painter strapped to the seat, not able to use his own brushes on his work, and only until recently I've been able to do that. And that's no one's fault. It's just because now, like I said, now we have the opportunity to do that, as do many artists. And Davey Lane's a great example of that with his new record and incredible production work on that album too. Like there's some, it's giving artists a lot of power to get things how they want to get it and to just produce and proliferate. And it's a really great thing on that front. So I'm definitely at the start of that on the journey, I suppose. I hate the word journey, but I'm at the start of that kind of process of just becoming a better producer and just making better decisions for what goes down. So I love all of that. And so even if no one listens to it and it gets, 5 or 6 likes, I still love it as much. It doesn't bother me too much. We're just extremely lucky that we do have enough people seemingly that care and they like what we do, and which gives us the opportunity to come out and keep playing. But yeah,
Well,
but yeah, that's what gets me going. Mm.
please do not stop because Dallas Crane do great music. Um, and going
Thanks, man.
forward, is there a collaboration that you'd love to be involved in? Like, who's someone that you'd adore to work with?
That's a great question. I got in touch recently. I don't know if you know any of Dallas Frasca's stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah, you should check out Dallas Frasca if you don't know much of her stuff. She's incredible. Um she's been around a long time now, like probably not far off 20 years, just sort of hacking away, and she's an incredibly hard worker. And I keep seeing her turning up all these festivals, and I thought, I better go check out what she's doing right. And I checked out her record, and I just heard the record she brought out last year, in 2024, Force of Nature. And I just thought, oh God, these songs are just next level. Her voice is fantastic. The production on it sounds like it could have been recorded by anyone in the whole world, overseas. It sounds incredible. And so I just reached out to her. I'd never met her. I just reached out to her and said, "Oh man, I love your record. Well done." And she threw up the idea of, yeah, let's write some songs together. So yeah, we caught up a couple of weeks ago and started working on a song. Just we only had a couple of hours and started building stuff together. So look, I'm not a big collaborator. I don't know if I'm necessarily a good one because I've always worked autonomously, and I think if I had a natural bias, I would prefer to do that. But I'm glad I'm pushing myself to do it because I think I could learn a lot. And someone like that is, we have very similar habits and music that we love. So it was good to just do that. But uh, anyone in particular, I mean, God, anyone that'll have me, mate. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
have that experience, right? Go for the
yeah, yeah,
um
yeah,
so look, I mean, like you were just saying, there's a chance of the album coming out, middle of next year or so, but
yeah.
Trouble Knows My Name is amazing. It's dropped. Is there a chance of maybe another single before the album comes out that we're going to be able?
Yeah, there is. Like for me, like if there was no onus or emphasis on making records, I just keep doing singles. It's so much easier for artists to pump singles out. The
Yeah.
funny thing is, you go and spend all this time on an album and a release, and people only pick one or two songs off it anyway and playlist it. So it's kind of, 20% of your work is actually valued on most records, if you're lucky. Um, so for me, it makes a lot more. I would just keep doing singles ongoing. But we just album still carries a bit of weight with, I guess, publicity and trying to get on tours and just step the name up a little more. So I guess we're not quite done with the album format yet. But yeah, if I had it my way, it'd be singles every 6 weeks. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you know what? I mean, it's the way we consume music, the way we
mm,
consume the world these days is totally transformed. It
yeah,
changes and changes, ridiculously. But I think, old school is never going to die because, like we've always said, everything old is new again. And
yeah,
just about constantly riding that wave because that next wave is going to come back again and it may be
yeah,
the same as what it was 20 years ago, a couple of decades ago.
yeah,
It's just like staying true to what you know and what you do. And I guess, Dave, it's about doing things authentically, and doing it for yourself,
yeah,
you know, just call
yeah.
it wave.
I think so. I mean, a single isn't a body of work. An album is a body of work. An album is a representation of a much clearer representation of what you're doing at the time, what you're thinking at the time. Whereas a single is, I've just got to get to the end of 3 minutes here, So it's, there's, yeah. So it is still vital. But I can't sit here and say how people listen to music anymore, whether they're still bothering with albums. But I think if the work's good enough, you'll stay on board.
Yeah, 100%,
Mm,
100%.
mm.
We go forth and we keep on conquering, right?
That's it.
There's
Yeah.
no other option. Dave,
Yeah.
you are an incredible artist. I enjoy your music. Amazing. Thousands of people.
Thanks heaps, mate.
And I cannot even wait to see Dallas Crane when they hit the Grace Emily on October 11, which is well, it's literally only a month
Yeah,
away.
it's only a month away. There's only about 20 tickets left. So tell your posse that to get moving.
I,
They
I know,
want to get one.
right?
Yeah.
You're doing something right.
Yeah.
If there's only
We're
11,
doing something right. Yeah.
you're doing okay. Don't
Adelaide, look, honestly, Adelaide is it's probably our best it's probably our favorite place to travel in Australia outside of Melbourne because of just it's always a great crowd and great culture and vibe, but it's also just so hard to travel interstate now, not just with travel expenses. It's $2,000 or $3,000 just to get the band up in there for a weekend, and so it's much better bang for buck in Adelaide. Plus the crowd's great, and we love going there, and the weather's always good. So, yeah,
Not
you're not
always,
not done with
not
this yet.
always. I mean, today's okay.
No,
You know what? The week
yeah,
leading up to today has been pretty bonkers.
yeah. I
Weather, sunny skies at the moment. It's okay.
I do like the Adelaide lizard weather summers though. The hot, dry.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Try telling
it
that
is
to
pretty
my indoor
crazy.
plants, Dave. Try telling that to the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
That's
don't
a
like
good point. Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Dave, Dallas Crane, amazing. Love your work. Everything is good. I cannot wait to hear more music from you in the lead up to the new album, and I cannot even wait to catch up when you hit the Grace in not very far away time. Thank you for your time. Thanks for the energy. Thanks for the music, and I look forward to
My
chatting.
pleasure. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, my
Good
friend.
on you, mate. See you. Bye. Take it easy.